What's up, guys? This is Black Scout Survival, and today this video we're going to discuss on how to choose a survival knife. And I guess what everybody says is the best survival knife is a survival knife you have on you. And if that were the case, then you want to buy a quality tool, and that's why we're going to say how to choose a survival knife, and not exactly say what is the best survival knife. In most situations, a lot of people like myself carry a folder of some sort, and I wouldn't really want to depend on this as my survival knife. I mean, if I had to, this is better than using a sharp rock, but it has a joint here that could break, and you don't want that in a survival knife. So my choice is a fixed blade tool with a full tang, and I want it to be tough, and there's a few features that I'm looking for whenever I choose a knife, and I kind of just want to go over what my opinion is on how I choose a survival knife. Basically, you need to ask yourself two questions. What is the outcome of your knife? Is it a one-tool option? What other tools are you going to be carrying with you to facilitate that knife? And what is is it going to be a game cleaning knife? Is it going to be a straight survival knife? Is it going to be a camp chore knife? All these questions are going to need to be answered prior to you choosing a knife. Like, for instance, when I kayak, I carry a knife affixed to my vest that is a serrated blade with doesn't have a pointed tip, as a dull tip, basically so I can't injure myself or puncture the kayak. And also the serrated blade is to cut through rope or anything I may get caught up in very quickly, to keep from drowning. Now, would I want that in a wilderness scenario? No. So that's what I mean by, what is the knife going to be doing? And what type of situation is going to be a tactical situation? Are you in the military and you need a tactical blade? A lot of these things are going to need to be, tailor-made to the application. But are you going to be in a desert environment? Are you going to be in an Arctic environment? Are you going to be in a jungle environment? Whereas a machete may work better for some in a jungle environment. In a desert environment, you may just need something like a Moore knife. So a lot of these things we're going to talk about. The other thing is the best survival knife. Like I said, this is not that video, but a lot of people say the best survival knife may be a Moore or something like that. But I really don't agree with that philosophy, because a Moore can break, and we'll kind of talk about this. I have a couple Bushcraft knives over here, and the rest of these are survival knives, and I'm going to kind of talk about the difference between the two as well. But my opinion, your survival knife should be where the majority of your money is spent. So buy quality and buy once. I hear a lot of people complain about the prices of knives, but save your money. If it takes you a year to get that knife that you want to trust your life with, it may take that long. You want to buy quality, and for me, there's a few things that I look for as far as steel, and that's really makes my decision, and basically the ergonomics. But basically, I like, for my survival knives, these are survival knives here, I like a knife in a 4 to 6 inch blade length range. And the reason why that is because, through my experience, that is the optimal blade length. 3-inch blade is going to be a compromised blade. 8-inch blade is going to be, better facilitated for chopping and not so much for making, trap triggers or whatnot. Can it be done? Yes, but the 4 to 6 inch blade length is what I really look for. Again, I also like a full tang, meaning that the length of the knife goes straight through the handle. So it's one solid piece of steel. And I like steels like CPM 3V. I like S30V, S35V. I like, L-Max, and I like CPM 154, like the Blackbird here. But I like very tough steels. I do use 1095 on occasion, and me personally, until my mind changes, I really only use SE knives when I use 1095, because they have a lifetime warranty. I break it, no matter if I put in a vise and cut it with a blowtorch and send it back to them, I'm going to get a new knife. Now, Another thing is going to be your, cost, how much you can afford. I understand not everybody's going to be able to afford a, a custom knife. So, something like the Becker BK2, although this isn't my favorite knife, but, you can get this knife for about 70 bucks, 60 bucks, and, it'll do the job. It's a one-tool option. It's not good at everything, but it's good at most things. Now, I like micarta as my handle length, and I really prefer a non-coated blade, unless it's like an SE knife where it's 1095 and could rust. You're gonna have to get a coated blade. But if I do get coatings, I'm gonna choose something that has this like nitride coating or something like that, like this Andrew Jordan knife here. And it's the finish on this knife doesn't prohibit it from striking a ferro rod or anything like that, and it's very good coating, very smooth, and it doesn't stop it from batoning. But for a tactical situation, you may need a coated blade because you want to be shining, have a shiny blade. But this, like go down the line here, this is the Andrew Jordan black scouting knife. Andrew Jordan designed this knife, really for, me and him did some talking. He designed this knife for me a few years ago, and it's a very awesome knife. Has a lot of survival features, and you can watch the video on this knife. But you'll notice this has a guard here, because the reason why that is because this can also be used in a tactical situation, whereas you're knife fighting. In a knife fighting situation, you want something to stop your hand in case you do stab someone, so your hand doesn't run across the blade. But understand that everybody can't afford a custom knife like this. This is Sandwich Damascus, and it's beast of a knife. Survive Knives GSO 6. I'm sorry, GSO Knives 77. This is a CPM 3V, very good knife, 6-inch blade length, and full tang, good knife. Obviously, like I said, the BK2, and then we have an SE5. SE5 and the BK2 are very similar. That's why I have them beside each other. If I had to choose one over the other, I'd definitely go with the SE, because it may cost a little bit more, but the handles on this, quite honestly, are not that good. So you have to upgrade them, in my opinion. So you might as well just get the SE and have that lifetime warranty. This is a Survive Knives GSO 5.1, and this is a CPM 3V as well, full tang, micarta handles, and anything from Survive really I enjoy. I like everything they're putting out. Then I have the SK5, Blackbird SK5, made by Ontario, and this was designed by Paul Scheider. Has a sharp spine, and it's a flat grind knife, like something like this, like a saber grind. You can see the difference here where the blade kind of goes up to right here and then flattens out, whereas this is a full flat grind. And full flat grinds, to me, I like them a lot because they'll cut through wood much better, and they seem to baton somewhat better. But the saber has a lot more strength because the central line here. So, in my opinion, this is like one of the best knives you can get for your money. It's a production knife, so you're not paying the custom knife price. But production-wise, this is probably one of the best that I've seen. This is a Martin Knives T3 sear, designed for military sear operations, and I really like it. It's S35 VN, very tough knife, good size, feels good in the hand. This is a GSO 4.1, awesome knife. Also, this is a M390, and I've liked this knife, very good, very small. I can do a lot of stuff with it. And in most situations, I'll carry something like this when I'm backpacking or camping or whatnot. But again, you got full-on hand-forged knives like the Andrew Jordan, where this was made all by hand, the whole entire knife. Then you have custom knives like Survive or semi-custom, where a lot of personal touches put into making these knives, like also like the Martin T3 sear. Then you have your production knives like BK2, SE, and the Blackbird. Obviously, the production knives are going to be a lot cheaper. Then you look at Bushcraft Knives, and with the survival knife, I feel like, real quick before I get to the Bushcraft again, I feel like a 2-knife system or 3-knife system is the best thing. I may carry something like this, and this, and I can do a lot more stuff. Because the one tool option, you know, we can try to make it happen, but in reality, one knife can't do everything. You know, that's why I believe in a 2 or 3 knife system. Now, bushcraft knives, they're a lot smaller, designed for camp chores, and the deal with them is that, you know, these are not survival knives. These are used to use with, you know, saws or axes or whatnot. So these can be smaller knives. You know, I got the LT Wright here, I've got a couple Moras, and I got a Heli Harding here. So these knives are designed to use with other tools. You know, I wouldn't want to depend on these as my only, you know, cutting tool. See, the difference between a survival and a bushcraft situation is survival is that you're trying to get out of the wilderness. Something bad is happening, you're trying to get out and get to safety. Bushcraft is you're going into the wilderness to go do, you know, sustainable living. So you have a different format for, you know, both of these type of tools. But hopefully, you know, this helps you with your, you know, decision-making process as far as buying a survival knife or even a bushcraft knife. Understand that you need to know what the application of the knife is, what you're going to be doing with it, and understand that, you know, buy quality and buy it once. But if you got any questions or comments, please leave them in the box below. Check out blackscoutsurvival.com for more tips and tutorials. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.